Yeah, Steve. Like, Sunday was weird. It's been a long time since I've seen that much blood. But outside of that, it was a really nice church service.
Okay, well, cool. Welcome back to the Vinyl Word Podcast. I'm Steve Beach.
And I'm Brian Mayer. Hello.
So if you're following along with all of our episodes, you'll notice there's not a ESP side 2.
Yeah, turns out it was boring.
Yeah, that's on purpose.
Uh-huh.
So you didn't miss an episode. We didn't forget to do one. We decided we'd be nice and show some mercy and not do side 2.
Yeah. In honor of October, we decided to go with the all killer, no filler as a motto.
Yes.
So, we're passing the boring stuff and moving on.
Yep, exactly.
And speaking of moving on, we are doing a sports record this time, but not the one you'd expect.
No, for fall.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because this is the sport that I think of in fall time, right?
Well, it's a sport everyone should think of in fall time, Steve. Bowling. So this is Hear How to Be a Better Bowler by Billy Golumbewski. He just goes by Billy G. Billy G is not my bowler. Yep. So Billy G was a Masters champion and a member of the Brunswick Advisory Staff of Bowling Champions.
Because we all know what that is.
Yeah,
it's world renowned.
Yeah, that was a beautiful bit of word salad he gave us right there.
That meant nothing.
Right. But he wants us to learn how to bowl. And what a noble thing. He makes some rather interesting claims at the beginning. The one I enjoy the most is bowling is the most popular sport in the world.
Yeah.
Not football as soccer, where all you need is an object that you can kick in a field. But bowling, where you have to have a special lane.
Special shoes.
Yeah. You have to have special everything.
Special floors.
Yeah. To bowl.
Everything else.
Uh-huh. So, we're amused by that. But Billy G is going to walk us through an educational aspect. I'm looking forward to this one. And, Steve, without further ado, let the bowl jokes commence!
Bowling is the most widely played sport in America, and probably in the world.
That's football.
And there are very good reasons for its popularity. First, it's fun. That's the most important reason.
It should be.
It's easy to learn. Perhaps you can't learn to be an expert in a few days, but you can learn to bowl well enough to enjoy it. Third, it's a sport that's
why
within
they
the
serve
physical
beer at
capabilities of almost everyone. And
which is why most bowlers have a beer gun.
And convenient. There's a bowling establishment in almost every town in the country.
Unfortunately.
The fundamentals of bowling are so simple that nobody needs any lessons to get the idea.
Even a monkey can do it.
Simply roll the ball down the lane,
and they'd be
try
sad
to knock
too.
down all the pins you can. That's all there is to it.
Well, this
Without
record's
knowing
done.
any more
What are
than
we going to do
that,
with the other 18
go out
minutes?
tonight and bowl and have a wonderful time. But
Let's
someday
not
you'll realize
overplay our
that there's
hand
a little
there,
bit more
Billy.
to bowling than this. You get the most out of it.
He just told us there's
You
something
want
to it. Then he
do
says
the
there's a
best
lot
you
more.
can.
Yep.
Liar.
The more you bowl, the more you want to get a better and better score.
No.
No,
And
really.
sometimes you reach a point where you seem to have gone as far as you can by yourself. You need a few extra
You need help
pointers.
bowling
I
your
think I
ball.
can give you a few tips which will help you increase your score. First, though, I'd like to stress something. To me, this is all important.
I'll be good,
Bowling
Steve,
is
I
a
promise.
sport, but even more important is the fact that it is a game. Unless you want to turn professional, you must realize that bowling is designed
You must
for
drink
fun.
more beer and eat more nachos to
If you
turn
work at it
professional.
too hard and turn it into a struggle instead of a sport, you're defeating the purpose of the game. Winning is exciting, of course, but it isn't everything.
Has
So
this
all
guy
I'm
ever
going
heard
to
of
try to do
competition?
on this
I
record
know.
is to show you how to get more fun out of bowling, not necessarily to be the world's best bowler.
That's
Like
my
Be
job.
one of the happiest.
Yeah, that's his job.
To start with, be comfortable. And as I've said before, and it can't be said too
So wear the
often,
clothes you wear to
bowling
Walmart.
is a game strictly
PJs,
for
fuzzy
kicks.
slippers,
Yep.
sweatpants.
You only need one special item of clothing. A pair of shoes
A
that's
garter
right
belt?
for the lanes,
Right.
and the rest of it simply dress comfortably and make sure you have a complete freedom of movement.
You want to be free
Pants that are
balling.
too
Yep.
tight or a skin-tight shirt may look like a million, but you'll bowl and make sure you have a complete
What happened
freedom
there?
of
Little
movement.
skip.
Yep.
Pants that are too tight or a skin-tight shirt may look like a million.
Gives me more time
But
to
you
think
bowl
about
like 2
me in a
cents.
skin-tight outfit bowling.
Make sure your clothing is loose and comfortable so you can swing your arms and your legs without any difficulty.
Man, I'd look good, Steve.
Don't dress to kill. Don't dress to make an impression.
Don't mud anybody.
Just dress to enjoy yourself and to move gracefully without any restrictions. In the long run, you'll look even better this way. But before we go on, let me stress again my main theme. I love bowling, and I want you to love it too. It should be fun, so don't make it work. Improve your game, of course, but not at the expense of the enjoyment you get out
Have
of it.
fun, but be
If you
the
once
best.
kill the pleasure of a game, you'll never have fun with it anymore. Okay, let's get on with it.
What a positive attitude.
Okay, we're waiting.
Yep.
Come on,
Yes.
Billy.
Enjoy a
there
pleasant
it is.
evening of bowling. You don't have to do anything except go to the bowling establishment of your choice. You don't have
So he
to
says
bring
now.
anything along except yourself, dressed in loose-fitting clothes.
That's called foreshadowing.
You can rent a pair of shoes at the lanes and use the establishment's own balls. It is perhaps
Don't
the only
use your
sport
own
in the
balls.
world that is as simple to participate in, accounting for its tremendous popularity. But if you bowl a
and
few
I promised
times,
Steve I wouldn't make
you'll
too many
notice
ball
something
jokes.
about the bowling balls. They
They're all
vary in
filled with
several
germs.
ways.
Yeah, I know.
Some are
Use
lighter,
that 6-pound
some
flu
are
ball.
heavier. Some
Or that
have a
8-pound
two-finger
COVID
grip,
ball.
but most of them have a 3-finger grip. The finger holes are wider in some than in others, and you'll probably learn quickly that you can get a better score with one ball than with another.
Or
That,
use
of
3
course,
balls
is
and get a better
because
score
one
all the
ball
time.
feels more
I
natural.
guess, yeah.
The finger holes may fit your hand, the weight
You know,
may
Steve,
suit
I
your
went to a
strength.
bowling alley up on the north side
One
recently.
night you may bowl
and
beautifully.
they've got
next
the
night
biggest
you may be a
balls of them all!
It may be because the second night you can't find the same ball you did so well with the night before. You've learned a vital lesson in bowling. The ball is a
Don't.
very important factor. There are several things you can do about it. First, if you bowl at the same establishment, you can simply try to find the same ball night after night.
Grab it and hide it in
Memorize
the
its
corner where the
number,
arcades are.
and then every time you
You can
go,
try to put a
look
sticky
for
note
it.
on it, but it'll fall off
And then
from all
you're
the
in
oil.
business. But of course,
is
the
my
better
ball. Nobody
way is
touch
to
it.
have your own private made-to-order ball. It's a simple procedure and not expensive.
Well, first he's saying, I don't need
Compared to
anything.
the
Now he's
hours
telling
of
me
pleasure
to
you'll
order
get
a
from it.
private
It
and
will
custom
be just
ball.
the weight you like,
Yeah.
with the right grip
Liar.
and
It's
the most
slightly more
comfortable
round.
span between the finger holes. It will fit you like a glove, and you'll always bowl at your
But
very
it's very
best.
heavy glove.
The next step will be a
Filled with
pair of bowling
cholera.
shoes. Bowling shoes have a leather sole for gliding on the left foot and a rubber tip on the other shoe for
Okay.
braking. This is a recipe for a right-handed person, of course.
Wait, what?
Lefties have to reverse the procedure.
What? You-
Now let's go down to the lane.
Lefties have separate shoes that are opposite? Steve, what? I have been bowling my entire life. I have never heard that.
Be a champion.
I'm
There
so
are no
sorry.
variables in
angry.
bowling to change a constant situation.
Brian's a lefty, if you didn't know
No
that.
problems of wind, rain, as in golf, or pebbles on the infield, as in baseball. The bowling
Pebbles
pins
on
are
the
always in the
infield.
same position. The lane is always the same length. The ball is always the same size.
So is a football field.
But it is the person
It's
who
always
rolls the
100
ball
yards.
who may differ each time he bowls. That's why I say a robot would be the perfect
robot?
bowler.
Yeah, he
His
bought
every
it from
delivery
Sears.
would be identical.
Sears
and
and
once he
robot.
learned the way to
Yeah.
roll a strike, he'd roll a strike
You can also
every
call
time.
him Tin Can.
Try to become as close to a machine as you can. That's one of the secrets of bowling. Once you
Have
learn the
fun,
way your
but be a
ball
robot.
behaves,
Get rid
once
of
you
all the
discover
joy.
best spot to hit the pins,
Repetition.
then you should try
That's
and
how
duplicate
you have
that
fun.
successful strike roll each time you step up to the foul line. It isn't easy, of course.
guess those robots
We're all
are taking
human,
over
and
with
it's
the
almost
bowling
impossible for the human machine to
Here
make
comes
the same
XL526
gesture
for
time
his
after time.
1,000th strike.
We must try to get as close as possible to machine-like precision.
When asked for a quote, he said,
Fortunately, there are some clues that we can use. And the first and possibly the most important is the stance you assume before you deliver your ball.
"You can stance if you want
Stand one
to.
way one
You
time,
can leave your stance behind."
time, it stands to reason that the ball will not roll down the lane in exactly the same angle at exactly the same speed.
But if
Think
you're a
of a
robot, it
baseball
would.
batter who deliberately varies his stance to hit to different fields. That's fine in baseball, but the problem in bowling is the opposite.
Baseball's
To roll
stupid.
exactly the same
So
way
forget
each
the
time.
baseball analogy.
Basic to that project is the stance, and so to begin with, learn to place yourself exactly at the same spot. There are 2 points with which you must concern yourself and where you stand. You must establish your relation to the center of the lane as well as determine the distance you are from the foul line.
But how do we do that,
First,
Steve?
find the center of the lane. This is relatively simple, especially in establishments that are equipped with rangefinders.
Or
These are
eyeballs.
almost
Yeah, eyeballs.
always built into the newer houses.
You look and you see the
Can
dots
consist of
and the
various
triangles
shapes,
on
such
the
as
floor.
circles
Yeah.
and darts.
They make a
built into
point,
the floors
and you
of the
just
lane.
go to the middle.
There are generally two sets of dots behind the foul line. One of the dots is bigger than the others. When you found the biggest dot,
And some
you
balls are
found the
bigger than the
center
others,
of the
yeah.
lane.
And when you found the biggest moron,
This
you found
applies
a
to
bowler.
right-handed bowlers. Lefties do just the opposite. From now on, I'm not
Lefties
going
do
to
the opposite of
specify
lots of
right-handed or left-handed. I'll just do everything for right-handers.
Oh, of
and
course
leave it to
you
the good
will!
sense of the left-handers to reverse my suggestions. Your left foot, then, is in the center of the lane,
I guess
directly
he
in
thinks
line with the
lefties are
hip pin.
inferior, Brian.
Yeah,
That
no,
places
that's
you
pretty
exactly
clear,
where
buddy.
you should be, as far as the center of the lane is concerned. Now, the next step is how far back from the foul line you should be. This varies considerably depending on such factors as the delivery you use, the length of your legs, the size of your stride.
But not the
But a
size
safe
of your
rule is to
balls.
stand with your back to the pins and pace off in a normal
You
stride
pace
with
off,
one
Billy
step
Jean!
for every step you use in delivering the ball. In other words, pace
Oh,
off
wait, I
three
don't think
steps
that's what he
for a
meant.
three-step
No, I don't think
delivery,
so.
Sorry, that was instinct
four
right there,
steps
just
for a
kicking in.
delivery, five
Sorry, I was
steps
drinking
for
a pint and
five-step
everything.
delivery. If your legs are longer than
A little
average,
bit of angst
add
from being a
another
lefty there,
half
Brian.
step.
Maybe.
If you take a particularly long stride, add still another half
stride.
step.
Ain't nobody gonna
That
break
should
my
bring you to the
stride.
correct spot.
Nobody gonna slow me
Turn around
down.
and see where you are.
Oh no.
For you,
I got to
that should
keep
be
on
home base.
bowling.
You should start every delivery from right there and no place else. Now pick up the ball and stand on your delivery spot. Hold the ball naturally. Hold it with your left hand under it.
Naturally,
the right hand
but not really.
Getting accustomed to its finger grip. Most
Slide
bowlers
your
generally
balls.
stand almost
Slide your
straight,
hand
cradling
into
the
that
ball
ball's
about their
holes.
waist, or perhaps a shade below the
Feel
waist.
all those
There are
germs
some who crouch.
crawling
That
physically
position feels
onto
normal and
you.
comfortable to you, by all means, crouch. What comes natural to you is
So
always
you will be
best.
crouching once you get all the germs from the
The
ball.
next problem is to blot out all
in the
outside
corner.
noises.
Oh, my belly.
Every
Order the
distraction that may
penicillin
cause you to alter
nachos
your normal
after.
delivery. That can be difficult because a bowling establishment is
That's
no
why they have so much
soundproof vacuum.
alcohol. They're trying to kill it
To
all.
achieve that machine-like perfection we want, the idea is to ignore as much of the outside noise as possible. And
So scream at all the other
concentrate on the
bowlers
job
to
at
shut up.
hand. Maybe you can take a tip here from the top pro basketball players. Did you ever notice when they're shooting a foul that they generally assume their stance in the foul line and then take
Assume
a
the
deep
position.
breath? That seems to relax them. Try doing the same. That
Just like
moment of
most
breathing
people
and relaxing
breathe
can
to
be a big
relax.
help to you.
Yeah,
It gives
it's
your
better
body a
than not
chance to
breathing.
untense, and it gives your mind a chance to become focused on its duty, which is to guide your body through the delivery of the ball.
He
Don't
said
let
that funny
anybody
word.
rush you.
Duty.
Stand there a moment, take that deep breath,
And then
fix
do
your eyes on
duty.
your target, and then, when you are ready and not before, go into your delivery.
But not
The
before.
stance is a vital first step in the art of bowling. Don't ignore it.
Did you hear that page flip, Steve?
Yes.
There are 4 basic types of balls you can roll. The
Usually
straight
round
ball,
ones.
the hook, the curve, and the backup, which is generally a reverse hook.
I've heard the
Most
square
people
ball is
roll
pretty
a
hard
ball
to roll.
straight normally and
They
naturally.
try, though.
There are a few people
an
who roll a
experimental
hook
bowling
without
ball.
even knowing it. It comes naturally to them. And an even smaller percentage roll a natural curve. But the vast majority roll a ball as straight as string.
Straight
And
as
unless
string.
you do a great
I've never
deal of
seen string
bowling,
be-
there's no
be
percentage
straight.
in trying to change.
Sticks,
A
rulers,
straight
sure,
ball is
but not
perfectly
string.
fine, although there is no
Steve,
doubt
I can
that
so
in the
tell
long
this
run,
record
a
is from the
hook or a
50s.
curve will hit the pins at a
Even
little
the
better
balls
angle
are
to each
straight.
strike. Almost every professional bowler has a hook or curve. But unless you plan to be an every night bowler or a pro,
An
it
every
isn't
night
really
bowler.
that important.
Also known as a lonely
you can have
person.
all the fun in
And
the
a
world
D-
bowling
and a
a ball that is
divorcee.
perfectly
Yeah.
straight.
Soon to be,
You
if
can
not
probably
already.
increase your control of it until you are consistently averaging between 130 and 150. If after you've reached
that
that
beers
point,
or
you
points?
feel the
I'm
urge
not
to
sure.
up your
I
average,
think it's either.
then you might try mastering the hook or curve. All the various breaking rolls, hook, curve, and backup, are achieved through a simple twist of the wrist. To start
Okay.
with, how do you hold the ball for a straight delivery? Pick up the ball naturally
Imagine
and roll
you're
it.
a heterosexual.
You'll notice
Yeah.
that your thumb is directly in front, pointing
Just
right
as
at
a
the pins,
cisgendered male. That's
Let's call it
that's what
12
you're
o'clock.
aiming for.
as they used
That
to
and the
spot
pin.
things in the Air Force. Your thumb for a straight ball is pointed at the spot where 12 o'clock would be. if the clock face were on the floor of the lane.
Okay, this gets me
And
because
as
the
you
clock
deliver the
face could
ball,
be
the thumb
literally
remains in
anywhere
that
on the
position.
court in
On the floor.
360
Your
degrees.
wrist is always straight, and there's no deviation from that all the way through your delivery.
Don't be a deviant,
All
Steve.
right, now you want to put a little hook
Especially
on
when
the
you're
ball.
bowling with balls.
This
Yep.
type of ball rolls straight
you're
down the
making them
lane
now,
about
too.
halfway, and then hooks to the left. To start throwing a hook, first hold the ball exactly as you do for the straight ball. Now
But
turn
then
it a
hold
bit
it
so the
different.
thumb is at 10 o'clock instead of 12, and deliver it that way. No further wrist twisting is necessary. It's just that simple bit of business
They
of
always
where
said
the
that in
thumb
the-
is
in the
pointing that
50s.
gives the ball that little break. In the section of this
just that
record
little
on
bit of
delivery
business,
and
Steve,
aiming,
so you're
I
giving
give
your balls
pointers
the
on how to
business.
aim a hook. But here I'm just talking about how to roll one. Once you've thrown a hook for a while, you'll learn how to control it, but at first you may be discouraged. The
People
ball will
might
seem
die.
to do tricks.
You'll be discouraged because
Sometimes
you're in a
you'll
bowling
expect it
alley.
to break and it won't,
Learning
and you'll be
to
lucky
do
knock down 3 or 4
bowling.
pins. Another time it will do just what you want. Break right into that 1-3 pocket and score a clean strike. And the next time it'll break too sharply, cut in front of the pins, and you'll have a complete miss.
Sometimes it'll stand on the
These
street
strange
corner and come back with
maneuvers
$100.
are, of course, a
Ooh,
result.
ooh, no,
of your
no,
throwing
no,
it a
no,
little
Steve,
bit
not those kind of
differently each
tricks.
time.
Oh, okay.
You'll
Breakfast
have to
cereal.
learn to keep that thumb at exactly the same angle time after time. That just takes a little practice, however, and you'll soon have that problem licked.
No,
Want
no,
to
no.
try a curve?
Don't lick anything
This
in a
one
bowling alley,
travels
No.
people. This is
No.
a public service
Until it makes
announcement.
contact with the
We
pin.
want you to live.
It's a flashy delivery and looks good to the people watching.
It's flashing.
And when it works
Superstar.
perfectly, it does a good job of knocking the pins
You
down.
look fabulous.
However, it is even more difficult to control than the hook because of the arc it travels. The first few times you
So you
try
wanna
it,
be a
your ball
good
will be
hooker
all
in a
over the
bowling
lane.
I guess
In
so.
the right one time,
Thought we were straight
and
away from
perfectly
that.
on target another. In the left the next. But if you want to try it, go ahead. Simply turn the ball a bit more and put the thumb at 9
mean, I
o'clock
don't care.
instead of
Like,
10
I'm
for
not
the
your
hook,
dad.
or 12 for the straight ball. You have in effect turned your wrist a quarter turn from the straightforward position you used to roll a straight ball.
Just
Then when you
remember,
release
straight
the
balls are
curveball, you
always
should
the
give it a
best.
little lift with your fingers, just as you let go. This gives it the spin needed to travel in that arc. The last of the 4 deliveries is the backup, which is a reverse hook. It travels straight for a time, then bends to the right. I know of no one who uses the backup consistently. but
Then
once in a
why
while it can be
even
helpful
bother,
in picking
Billy
up
G?
spares on the extreme
I
right
used to get in
side
trouble
of the
at work
lane.
all the time for not doing a backup.
It is thrown
Yeah.
by putting the thumb at 1 o'clock. In other words, you're twisting your wrist the opposite direction from the way you rolled the hook or curve. Theoretically, you could twist your wrist even more in that direction, say all the way to 3 o'clock, and get a reverse curve. But don't try that on the lanes. It would be so difficult to control.
People might die.
and too
Because they're all
dangerous to
straight
life
guys
and
at the
limb.
bowling alley.
Yeah.
There remains one other problem about the type of ball you roll, and that is the speed at which it goes down the lane.
Oh, tell me more,
Now,
Billy.
some speed is
How
necessary.
fast should my balls
A
be?
strike is caused by the pins
supposed to
flying
use
around and
methamphetamines
knocking
when
other
you're bowling?
pins down. If the ball
Some
is
speed
too
is required?
slow, that
I'm
flying
willing to bet that
action
some
just
people
won't
are.
happen. So you must put a little something on the ball. But don't
There's
get the
already your
idea
little
that
something.
The faster you roll the ball,
Little
the
something,
more
something.
strikes you will get
Infectious
automatically.
diseases.
You quickly reach a point of diminishing returns on this. If you are
Showing up
consciously
at a bowling
attempting
alley.
to roll the fastest ball possible, you will be sacrificing something else. Aim,
You're pretty diminished.
coordination, or
Already.
delivery. And all that speed isn't necessary. The ball must
Go
roll
to
down the
rehab.
lane at a fairly good clip to score a strike. But supersonic speeds are not going to knock down more pins than 10.
Feeling supersonic.
Here again, I'd like to
give me
stress the
gin and
importance of
tonic.
I was just thinking,
One
Sonic
key to good bowling
Hero.
is to do what comes naturally. If you have a nice delivery and the ball naturally moves at a nice speed, don't monkey around with it. There's no profit in trying to increase your speed just to compete with some joker on the next lane.
He's
Do
bowling
the
with the
natural thing and
Joker.
let the
I know,
speed
he's
take
In the next
care of
alley is
itself.
Batman.
I know. He looks over and he's like, why so serious?
We come now to the actual delivery of the ball. To my way of thinking, the 4 most graceful moments in all of the sports are
Oh, boy.
a fine high diver in action, a great batter swinging at a fast ball, a top golfer driving from a tee, and a picture bowler in action.
And a racehorse
As
taking
we
a
have
dump on the
seen,
track.
A good delivery is based on a good
Yeah.
stance and on starting your delivery from
I
the
respectfully
right spot
disagree
on the
with
lane.
Billy G on these
If you start from
metaphors.
too far back, as you deliver, you'll realize that you are too far back,
Yeah.
and you will be taking extra long strides, which will throw your delivery off.
Or a bunch of tiny
Or the
steps like
reverse
Fred
of that.
Flintstone.
If you are not far enough back from the fall,
The tippy toes.
you'll find yourself cutting down on your stride, and again your delivery will be off. We will start with a 4-step delivery, as this is what most people use naturally.
Oh,
and it
most
offers the
right-handed
best
people,
opportunity
Billy.
for a simple and natural delivery.
I haven't
Take 4
forgotten.
steps back from the follow line and add a half a step if you have long legs, and another half a step if you take a particularly
You should come to the bowling
long
alley with a
stride.
tape measure and measure
Turn
your
around.
legs.
Now you're ready to go.
Measure other bowlers' legs for
Start with your
comparison.
right foot,
They won't
take an
think it's
average
weird.
stride. At the
I'm
same
just doing what
time,
Billy G said.
let your left hand fall away from the ball.
Climb under the chairs
From
and
now
do
on,
it so you
ignore
don't
your
disturb
left
them.
arm. It will take care of itself. With your right arm, push the ball away in front of you. Right arm
Get away
is
from me!
almost
Don't touch
parallel
me.
With the right leg as you take that first step. You can try this at home as you listen to this record.
Okay.
Use a book instead of the ball.
Because my
Push it
house
away
is
in
just
front
like
of
the
you as
bowling
you
alley.
take Step 1. Now for the second step. Just as happens when you walk down the street normally. Your right arm goes back as your left leg goes forward. There's
I always
nothing
carry a bowling
mysterious
ball
to
when
a
I walk
bowling
down the
delivery.
street naturally.
Only here, you've got a ball in your hand. You'll probably find
ball.
yourself beginning to
A
crouch
ball.
a bit during this step. And you begin a backswing with your right arm. Before we get any
There's
further,
that paper
a word
There's that
about the
paper turning.
backswing. The purpose of this is to give the ball sufficient momentum to knock the pins down. Your arm action is something
Does he
like that
really
of a
think
clock
his listeners know
pendulum.
what sufficient
Swings
means?
back, then forward. Some bowlers figure the loftier the backswing, the more speed. That may be true, but speed isn't everything.
Windmill that bad boy,
Anyhow,
baby!
A great broad backswing will throw your timing and your aim off. A timid little backswing won't give you enough speed.
Don't be wimpy.
The ideal backswing brings the ball up to just about the level of your
I love
shoulders.
doing.
If you find yourself not getting up that high, try starting out
Smoke
by
some more.
holding the ball a bit higher during your stance and pushing it
Don't
away
be a
bit
quitter.
longer on the first step. This naturally tends to increase
You're already
the
using
pendulum action of your
methamphetamines.
arm.
Uh-huh.
For the reverse, a backswing that is too high, try holding the ball a bit lower and cutting down on the length of the push away on step 1.
Doesn't he mean
This
length
should
of the
shorten
push
the
away?
pendulum action and lower the height of the backswing.
what
Okay,
Stan Musial
back
calls
to
it.
where we were on step 2.
That
The
was
right
a-
arm is swinging back. You're
Okay.
starting to crouch. Now take your third step. Forward
one
with your right
giant
foot.
step.
Your backswing is at
For
its peak, and
mankind.
you start to come down with the arm. And now the moment of truth, the fourth step.
Here it is.
You glide forward on your left foot. The right arm comes down, and if everything works out as planned, you should be releasing the ball just about at the foul line.
Again,
with your
unless
left
you're
foot
left-handed,
stopping
in which case,
comfortably
if you're
short of that
wearing
line.
right-handed shoes,
Okay,
you grind
shall we
to
give
a
it a try at
halt
home?
and you throw the ball
Roll
into
back
the
the
gutter.
rug, or find a
I
clear
only
spot
know
about
this
12
from
feet longer.
decades of
Take your
experience.
stance. Now, step 1, push away. Step 2, start your
Pushing you
backswing.
away, Billy G.
Step 3, start your right arm forward. Step 4, glide and release. All through the delivery, your eyes should be in only one place, and that's focused constantly on the target. If you are aiming at the pins, your head is up, your eyes straight ahead. If you are aiming at a rangefinder spot on the lane floor,
A range
your head is lower.
The
and your
dots
eyes
on the
riveted
floor.
You're
in that
not a
spot.
fish, Billy.
In either case, the point is to keep the head still, the eyes glued to the target. There are two
I
other
gotta glue
possible
my eyes to the
deliveries,
floor.
the 3-step and the 5-step. The first puts much
Don't
more
do the
strain on
4-step
arm,
or the
and is
6-step.
not recommended for that reason.
Only odd number steps.
However,
Yeah.
some beginners seem to feel more comfortable closer to the foul line. And if you're one of them and seem to be able to manage the strain of your arm,
The
try
strain
the
of your
3-step approach.
arm? Are they
You
throwing
start with your left
boulders,
foot,
Steve?
pushing away as you go. On the second step, you take a backswing, which is why this strains the arm more than the 4-step delivery, where the backswing is spread over 2 steps. So step 2 of the 3-step delivery finds you stepping
Steve, I
forward
can't even
with
tell
the
you
right
how many
foot
times I've been
and
on
swinging
dates
the
and
right arm
had
back
my
and
date
starting
score
forward
more
again.
than me at bowling.
The third step, like the
And
fourth,
now I
and the
know
4-step delivery,
part of the
is
reason
glide and
why.
release step. The 5-step delivery is simply the 4th step with
I am
an extra added little step.
Boiling
the
with
left foot
self-rage
first.
right now.
I can
Some
tell.
people just seem to feel more comfortable
It's just a record.
starting with the left foot So the 5-step
Seems
delivery
like something
was invented.
somebody could have told me.
You start with a little step with the left foot and then go into the normal 4-step delivery. It's just a question of which one feels more natural to your limbs.
One,
By all
2,
means,
3,
try all of
4.
them,
Get
both
your
at home
rollers
and at
on the
the
floor.
lake.
Gonna get up to get
But
down.
don't switch just for the sake of
Rest
switching.
in peace, Coolio.
The paramount issue is your comfort when you're delivering. If you're happy the way you are, don't change.
Clap your hands.
Only experiment if you don't feel comfortable.
All right. So, I don't know if you noticed, but he did want us to practice bowling in our own home.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, Brian, but I got a new rug.
Steve, I did notice that new rug. It's really nice. It ties the whole room together.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate that he wants us to learn bowling, but Steve, I got to be honest. From a lefty perspective, this record lays bare all the ways that this world treats left-handed people like garbage.
But you know, we were talking about that before, and some things, honestly, I really didn't realize. I mean, obvious stuff like notebooks, things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some things I didn't think about. Like you mentioned the tape measure.
Yeah. Tape measures to me are upside down, and so are rulers, like just upside down. So like I have learned to read upside down because I had to. It was a necessity for life. I also, when I was in grade school, I got my scissors out of a cigar box because they were special left-handed scissors for the whole school that they passed from class to class.
In a cigar box.
They had green rubber on the handles so that they could easily identify which kids were the lefties.
The special section.
Yeah. Like Steve, I mentioned it to you real quick, but they were gonna hold me back in kindergarten because one of the rules was that you had to know how to tie your shoes.
Right.
And I couldn't tie my shoes because I was left-handed, so my left hand kept going over the top of the loop.
Oh. So yeah, that's another thing I didn't think about.
But here's the thing, Steve. I walked into kindergarten day 1 knowing how to read.
That's impressive.
They were going to hold me back.
Because you couldn't tie your shoes.
Because I couldn't make a loop. I was wearing Velcro because I had to.
Well, you could read.
Yeah, but that wasn't on their checklist.
That wasn't on their checklist. Shoe tying was more important than reading.
Yeah,
evidently.
It's a weird world that I live in, and like we talked about, here's a little tip for you, all you people out in the world: measuring cups that are glass. If you're right-handed, you don't have to rotate the cup twice. I do. Because when I put the cup down, I'm looking at the whatever company bought it, like made it. Thank you, Pyrex. Then I have to rotate the cup 180 degrees. I have to pour in my liquid. Then I have to rotate it 180 degrees back to pick it up. Do you have to do that, Steve?
No, I don't. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. This is my life.
I never realized it's a right-handed predominant world we live in.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
We should start a whole social media campaign.
James Brown was,
like, Left Lives Matter.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I'm just kidding.
But the point is that there are the right-handed is so ubiquitous that you don't have to think about this.
Right.
But I have to adjust certain things. I found out boomerangs when I was a kid. People came to me with boomerangs. Like there were foam boomerangs. Do you remember those?
Yes.
Yeah. Like my boomerangs would go out and drop because I found out I was throwing it with the wrong rotation because I was throwing it with my left hand.
Opposite direction. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I would have to buy a special left-handed boomerang to know how to do. Hours wasted of my life that I didn't know.
So if you want to send a gift card to Brian for a special left-handed store, you can send that to the vinylword22 at gmail.com. You can send him gift cards and links to left-handed stores online so we can help make him happy once again.
I'll get over it. It'll be okay.